What I'm going to show you is a portion of an interview held some time ago. It was filmed, and I'm very grateful to the client for her permission to show it to you. It's a part of an interview with a young mother, a widow, with whom I'd already had a number of contacts. She's been talking about her small daughter and some of her negative feelings, and feeling that she may be hurting her daughter through these negative feelings because sometimes she doesn't even want to be a mother.
Somebody that could stand up to me, or that could stand up on his own feet, or something like this, another adult or something like that. But I mean, I'm not supposed to, and it would be terrible if people thought of me as a mother who hurts her own child, and I don't want to be that or something, and yet sometimes I really do want to hurt her.
It just seems so awful to think of being a mother who might at times want to hurt her own child, and yet actually sometimes that's the way you feel.
And I feel as if, well, sometimes I just resent it. You know, I give her the right to say I hate you, but I don't have the right to say that to her.
I give her that much freedom, and yet I resent the fact that I haven't given myself that much freedom.
Well, I feel as if I don't have a right to that freedom because I'm a mother or something. I don't have people don't give me, or somebody doesn't give me that right, or being a mother doesn't give me the right to do that.
Because I'm a mother, I can't feel something like that. I can't say something like that.
And also because it hurts her, also because she's so little, and because she can't stand up to me, and she... I mean, when she says to me, I hate you, I can say, all right, you hate me right now. And feel like, well, maybe tomorrow she won't. But I'm not sure that she can say that to herself. I mean, I'm not sure that... I mean, if I say, I hate you to my daughter, I mean, I feel as if to her that means forever and ever, and she'll always remember it that way or something, and I don't want...
I sort of feel, I can understand what she means when she says, I hate you, because I know it isn't pregnant, but I can't believe she could understand me if I said something like that.
Well, she'd understand me, but I'm afraid she'll think I always feel that way to her, and I don't want her to think that I hate her. I mean, even if sometimes I do, I don't feel as if I can say it. I feel as if I can't say it, because I don't want her to feel that I do, and I feel as if...
And this is a feeling I just cannot bring out to her, because it might hurt her. I just can't.
I guess it would frighten me to say it to her, too.
It would really scare you to pieces to really voice some angry or hateful feelings to her.
I guess I'm scared that if I said to her, I hate you right now, I hate what you're doing, I hate how you make me feel, and I hate you, and I don't want you right here, right now, or something like I really feel sometimes. I feel as if I say that, I mean, she could never like me again or something like that. I mean, I
Just
feel,
feel
yeah.
that would be the end. She couldn't ever love me again if I said something like that.
And if she didn't, who would?
So that really it would be risking that such a priceless thing. If she didn't love you, who would? It just seems though that's too much of a risk. I hope that gives you a little bit of feeling of what psychotherapy is like. I'd just like to make one explanatory comment on what you've just seen. In a non-judging, freeing, understanding kind of relationship, a person finds that he can express feelings in himself which he's always felt he cannot express. Feelings that are too bad or too foolish or too shameful to communicate. I think you've seen something of that sort happen here. And you may wonder, what good does this do? I think in the first place it tends to have a releasing effect. The person doesn't have to guard against himself so much and finds himself more acceptable. But another important consequence is that it frees the person to be more expressive of these feelings in the real relationship in which they arose. So that I would make the prediction, and here I'm putting my neck out, that this interview would make it easier and more natural for this mother to express negative feelings to her child when she feels them, and in a way that won't do any damage to the child. And this in turn, I think, might free her to be more loving and affectionate when she's feeling loving and affectionate. But I don't want to just talk about the interview. I want to show you some more of it. You remember she has just said something of the sort, if she didn't love me, then who would? And then she goes on to express some feelings which many parents have felt.
Sometimes I feel pretty much alone and as if I have to take care of her and I have to love her and all that but I really want her to love me too. I want her to love me.
Sounds as though sometimes you feel somewhat burdened by all the love you have to give her, and you want some in return too.
And it feels sometimes as if when I really need it the most, when I'm feeling most all the weight on my shoulders of bringing her up and wanting to do the right thing and how am I going to manage everything and take care of everything, and being preoccupied and stuff like this, and it's kind of these times when I feel as if she says she hates me and she doesn't love me.
It just seems to you as though somehow it's when you most need her love that's when she slaps you down.
And then I really feel all alone.
And you feel very much alone.
And I really do love her. It's a crazy sort of thing, but I really do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I sort of want her to know that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is something very real and deep in you, that you do love her. And you'd like her to really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And I sometimes feel as if she doesn't appreciate that, and she doesn't appreciate me, and and then I think, oh, why do I even want that, or why do I expect that? I have no right to expect her appreciation or something like that. Why should she? I'm supposed to be doing these things for her, and I'm supposed to be feeling these ways toward her, and I have no right to expect her to appreciate me for things that I have to give her or something like that.
There's so many things that you're supposed to feel, and you feel you just have no right to feel some of the things you do feel, like wanting her to appreciate you.
I guess it's asking too much of a child to appreciate somebody. I guess I feel like that's just for adults to understand or something, and I shouldn't really expect that of her, and I have no right to expect her to appreciate me, and yet I really do want her to.
Maybe it isn't the right thing to do, maybe I shouldn't be feeling this, but I surely do want her to appreciate me.
And I'm so hurt when she doesn't, and I hate that.
Just feel so annoyed with yourself when you're hurt at her lack of response.
And I think, gee whiz, I mean, I used to resent it so much when my mother would say, you know, that we don't appreciate her, kids don't appreciate her or something, and I used to think, well, my gosh, why does she expect this? I mean,
and so it's very annoying to find yourself fitting into what
doing the
seems
same
like
thing,
the same pattern.
because I felt that was a burden to me. I felt as if it was a burden to me to show some appreciation, which was expected, and I don't want to expect that of my daughter, and I don't want to... Yeah, I guess I know for the first time how my mother felt.
What you've just seen is very typical of therapy, in that she's expressing a somewhat childish and immature feeling of which she's ashamed, wanting to be appreciated by her daughter. Now, this is just the kind of opportunity that therapy offers to express, to feel, and to experience every aspect of oneself. The immature and the shameful aspects, the positive and grown-up aspects. And what we find is that the more a person can be all these aspects of himself, the more he can change and grow, and the more he feels that he's a whole person. And a whole person, or a mature person, is able to feel childish or dependent or immature at times without feeling ashamed of those feelings. And he's also able, without fear, to be responsible and social and effective and creative. Well, I've pointed out some of the characteristics of therapy as I've seen them in these fragments of the interview, but I expect you'd be a good deal more interested in the meaning that this interview had and has for the young woman who was involved in it. And I'm deeply pleased that she's expressed a willingness to talk with you, so I'm going to go over and join her, and hope you will too. Now, you've seen the portions of our interview on this program, and I know that both I and the audience would be very much interested in any reactions or comments you have.
Well, when I saw it again, I was thinking, by gum, I really lived that, didn't I? This is kind of different from the situation as it was then.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose you want to know how I felt then, or
Mm-hmm.
something.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll say, most of all, I felt safe, whatever that means.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, I could, I start by saying things as I feel them, and gradually realize that, by gum, I'm feeling lots of things that I didn't even know I felt. And it was all right to say them here, no matter how bad they were and how awful they seemed. And little by little to realize, gee whiz, it's not just one big muddled mess, but a lot of separate feelings that I have, and some of them I don't like, and some of them I do like. And a lot of these things became very clear during this time. That, gee, I don't just feel one way toward her, I feel lots of ways toward her. But here it was safe to do that, and it was okay, and it felt like, well, you weren't going to blame me for that. And I couldn't say that to anybody else, and often I can't say it even to myself alone.
Mm-hmm.
But it was okay here.
Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things that you felt in the hour.
Mm-hmm.
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 And then I'm sure that I wonder, and I suspect the viewers wonder, did this kind of an interview make any difference at all in the relationship with your daughter?
Oh. Well, I wish I could give it a storybook ending, but that isn't the way.
The real ending is
yeah, that isn't the way things happen, and it's miracles don't happen overnight. But I must say that I feel more and more now when I'm with her, and especially when some conflict situation arises, that makes me feel some of the ways I don't want to feel, negatively toward her and things like this. I think, well, I know I feel that way, and I know I don't feel only that way. And somehow, if I know all the ways I feel, then it somehow gives me freedom. It gives me some kind of choice to pick the best way to handle the situation that I can. And I think more than that, it makes for some kind of emotional honesty between us. And when I'm honest about how I feel, then I can be open to how she feels too. And I've found myself becoming much more sensitive to how she feels in our relationship together. And it's not that there are no problems anymore. There are always situations that come up that have to be taken care of. But that isn't what's erased. What's erased is some kind of muddled feeling about how shall I handle this and how shall I handle myself. It gets to be increasingly clear for me how I feel and how she feels, and on the basis of both of these things, how we can handle whatever happens to come up.
I'm particularly impressed with the fact that you really are able to be many different aspects of your feelings with her, from what you said.
Yeah. Sometimes I can even be irritated with her and show her, and it doesn't feel like it shatters either one of us. And I find that she's much more resilient than I thought she was, and I don't have to be afraid of her, and I don't have to be afraid of myself. And that makes a much smoother kind of thing for us.
I think then that this prediction that I made when I was talking about it might be modified a little, that it isn't just that you were more free to express your negative feelings to her. It sounds as though that's really a small part of it, that you're able to be all of the different feelings that you have in relation to her.
Yeah. I guess one of the things that I felt when I was in this session that we saw was that gee, I must sound like I only have negative feelings toward her. And that's not so. And yet what I can't fool myself about anymore is that I only have positive feelings toward her. And I can take into account all of them when I have to deal with her, when I have to listen to her or handle some situation that comes up.
Sort of sounds to me as though you had perhaps moved away from trying to be a good mother, in quotes, and are closer to being a real mother.
Yeah, I think so. And I begin to appreciate much more how much of a whole person she is, too. And I can't help but feel that this is good for both of us.
Well, I know that I think I can speak for the people looking in on this as well as for myself in saying that we really appreciate very much your willingness to join us and take part in this discussion. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.